Homesteading, page 4, page 5. Planting a garden, basic plant requirements. Before you start a garden, it's helpful to understand what plants need to thrive. Some plants, like dandelions, are tolerant of a wide variety of conditions, while others, such as orchids, have very specific requirements in order to grow successfully. Before spending time, effort, and money attempting to grow a new plant in a garden, do some research to learn about the conditions that a particular plant needs to grow properly. Environmental factors play a key role in the proper growth of plants. Some of the essential factors that influence this natural process. Follows. 1. Length of day. The amount of time between sunrise and sunset is the most critical factor in regulating vegetative growth, blooming, flower development, and the initiation of dormancy. Plants utilize increasing day length as a cue to promote their growth in spring, while decreasing day length in fall prompts them to prepare for the impending cold weather. Many plants require specific day length conditions in order to bloom and flower. 2. Light. Light is the energy source for all plants. Cloudy, rainy days, or any shade cast by nearby plants and structures can significantly reduce the amount of light available to the plant. In addition, plants adapted to thrive in shady spaces cannot tolerate full sunlight. In general, plants will only survive where adequate sunlight reaches them at levels they are able to tolerate. Some gardens require more planting than others. Flower gardens can be carefully arranged to create patterns or to contain a specific range of colors, or they can be more casual, as this garden is. However, always keep in mind a plant's specific environmental needs before choosing to place it. Page 8. Planting a garden. Selecting a site for your garden. Selecting a site for your garden is the first step in growing the vegetables, fruits, and herbs that you want. You do not need a large space to grow a significant amount. Creating a garden that is about 25 feet square should be sufficient for your family. It is important that you don't start off with a space that is too large. It is better to start small and then work your way up if you find that gardening is something you truly enjoy. 5 factors to consider when choosing a garden site. 1. Sunlight. Sunlight is crucial for the growth of vegetables and other plants. For your garden to grow, your plants will need at least 6 hours of direct sunlight per day. To make sure your garden receives an ample amount of sunlight, don't select a garden site that will be in the shade of trees, shrubs, houses, or other structures. Certain vegetables such as broccoli and spinach grow just fine in shadier spots. So if your garden does receive some shade, plant those types of vegetables in the shadier areas. However, on a whole, if your garden does not receive at least 6 hours of intense sunlight per day, it will not grow as efficiently or successfully. 2. Proximity. Another consideration is how close you place your garden to your home. If your garden is closer to your house and easy to reach, you will most likely use it more often and to its fullest potential. Having a garden close to your home will help you to pick your vegetables and fruit at their peak ripeness. allowing you to access to an abundance of fresh produce on a regular basis. Weeding, watering, and controlling pests are all more likely to be attended to if your garden is situated near your home. Overall, gardens placed closer to the home will receive more attention and thus be healthier and more productive. 3. Soil quality. Contrary to some beliefs, you do not need perfect soil to start and grow a productive garden. However, it is best to have soil that is fertile, full of organic materials that provide nutrients to the plant roots and easy to dig and till. Loose, well-drained soil is ideal for growing a good garden. If there is a section of your yard where water does not easily drain after a good soaking rain, it is best not to plant your garden in that area, as the excess water will most likely drown your garden plants. Furthermore, soils that are of clay or sandy consistency are not as effective in growing plants. To make these types of soils more nutrient-rich and fertile, add in organic materials such as compost or manure to improve their quality. 4. Water availability. Water is vital to keeping your garden green, healthy, and productive. A successful garden needs around 1 inch of water per week to thrive. Rain and irrigation systems. Then it shows some peppers. A garden of about 25 feet squared should be adequate to produce enough vegetables for a family of 4 to 6 to enjoy. And it shows tomatoes. If you don't have enough space for a full garden, you can plant in flower pots or other containers. Potted plants are especially convenient because you can move them around to get more light or to make watering easier. Page 9. Gloves, a trowel, and a watering can are some of the most basic tools you should have on hand for gardening. Okay, continued. Rain and irrigation systems are effective in maintaining this 1 inch per week quota. Situating your garden near a spigot or hose is ideal, allowing you to keep the soil moist and your plants happy. 5. Elevation. Make sure your garden is not located in an area where air cannot circulate and where frost quickly forms. Placing your garden in a low-lying area such as at the base of a slope should be avoided, as these lower areas do not warm as quickly in the spring and frost forms quickly during the spring and fall because the cold air collects in these areas. Your garden should, if at all possible, be elevated slightly on ground that is higher up. This way, the garden plants will be less likely to be affected by frost, and you'll be able to start your garden growing earlier in the spring and harvest well into the fall. Some other things to consider. When planning out your garden, it is useful to sketch a diagram of what you want your garden to look like. What sorts of plants do you want to grow? Do you want a garden purely for growing vegetables, or do you want to mix in some fruits, herbs, and wildflowers? Choosing the appropriate plants to grow next to each other will help your garden grow well and will provide you with ample produce throughout the growing season. See the charts on page 10. When planting a garden, Be sure to have access to many types of tools. You'll need a spade or digging fork for digging holes for seeding or seedlings. Or if the soil is loose enough, you can just use your hands. You'll also need a trowel, rake, or hoe to smooth over the garden surface. A measuring stick is helpful when spacing your plants or seeds. If you don't have a measuring stick, you can use a prick-cut string to measure. If you are planting seedlings or established plants, you may need stakes and string to tie them up so they don't fall over in clement weather or when they start producing fruit or vegetables. Finally, if you are interested in installing an irrigation system for your garden, you will need to buy the appropriate materials for this purpose.